Back. In this video tutorial, we're going to take a quick look at path animation for our vehicles. Now, in establishing a path, I'm going to go ahead and use a curve. I'm going to come right up here to Curves and Surfaces tab and select on my circle and scale that up. I'm going to keep my path kind of small because my vehicle is fairly large. I think my cameras are going to start clipping it out. So just starting with a general circle path, I'm going to go ahead and select my translation node, and I'm going to then shift select my path, and I'm going to come right up here to constrain motion paths. Has a flyout here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the header so that you can see the options here. Attach to motion path has an options box next to that, so let's go ahead and click on that one. And I'm going to go ahead and reset that. Now, right down here, we've got a lot of options here, but let's go ahead and just for the sake of it, we're going to reset this and go with the defaults, as I've been encouraging you to do. And if we put this on with the defaults, you can see that now if I scrub along here, the car is going sideways, even though we actually had the orientation placed correctly. So it's just a matter of changing the path orientation. So I've got my node, my translation node selected, and if I go to the attribute editor, I can see in motion path tab here off to the right hand side. If I click on that, you can see that in the U value there's a red value, and that simply means there's animation on that, which we know by scrubbing the time slider. But right down here in the center, this is where you want to establish your front axes. We do not want X as our front axes. We want to go ahead and change that to Z. Just as we set up the vehicle looking down the positive Z axis, we want to make sure that that is what's happening here for the path as well. So now if we scrub the animation, that car is going forward in the positive Z direction. Up axis is still Y. All our modeling and animation is done Y up for game unless otherwise specified. And then of course you have a couple of other options here that you can play with. You've got twisting, which is great for high velocity racing. It's kind of fun to get it to twist around certain angles. But notice bank also. Now this value, the bank limit is set to 90, but I know that our vehicle here is very large, so we'll probably have to go to about a 500 to see that on the screen. Yeah. So now you can see that as that vehicle is careening around this circle path, that it is banking as well. Gives you a little bit more add to the animation there. And of course, if we modify our path, that vehicle is going to be doing different things with the weight distribution as well. So I'll go ahead and go to the component mode of my circle. Maybe pull this out a little bit, maybe pull this down, maybe up on this end. And now you can see that your vehicle is going to be doing different things at different turns. Whoa, way over on its side here. So you can get right in here and keyframe the amount of bank on here at different intervals around your path. One thing I want you to note about the path animation is the defaults for path. If I go ahead and simply play my animation, it slows out and slows in at the action where it actually is attached to the path. So in this path animation, you've got to slow in and slow out by default, and I want you to know how to correct for that so your vehicle can continue going around the path. I'm going to go ahead and stop my simulation, select on my vehicle, go to motion paths. Now right here below motion paths you've got two arrows. Go ahead and select the arrow at the top there with your translation node selected, and it will show you that the in tangent type and the out tangent type are on auto, and that's simply the default setting. What we're going to do is click on auto and type in linear. Okay, and you can go ahead and copy and paste that into the other fields. When you do that, that takes out that slow in and slow out feature of the path animation. Then you can go ahead and click on your play button and see that there's a constant velocity to your vehicle now. Now, the same way you played with the linear tangent type and auto tangent type here, you can also key your animation along the time slider at different velocity. And of course, we talked about the banking as well. And then you have the twist and so on. So there's a lot that you can do with a simple path animation for your vehicle. All right, thank you for joining me for this series. Next, we will be integrating this into Unreal, into our triggered cutscenes, and see if we can have some fun with it. Thank you. If you need additional help, please contact me directly with my email.